Okay, and should I? Yeah. Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Wolfie Stadler, and I'm a member of YEL, which stands for the Youth Exploring Life. Whether you are here in the sanctuary, out enjoying nature on the pavilion, or watching on Facebook, now or later, please know that you are welcome here just as you are. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we embrace diversity in all its forms. We welcome people from every background, belief, identity, and life experiences. Recognizing our strengths comes from our openness to one another. We try to live our values both inside and outside these walls by centering the value of love, honoring our independence, and showing generosity and promoting justice and equality. Is anyone here for the first or second time? We would love to have you find a home here among us and hope you will join us after the service for refreshments out on the pavilion so we can get to know you. Now here's Reverend Tony with his welcome and some announcements.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's great to be here. It's great to have Wolfie next to me this morning and the YEL band here for our listening pleasure today. As I said in my little blast this past weekend, the fact that we're doing a service on artificial intelligence and the fact that the YEL band here is to play for the service bear no connection whatsoever to one another. We're just grateful that they're here, and I'm looking forward to hearing. There are a couple of announcements, not too many. Today, after the service, after coffee hour, there'll be a living room conversation. If you look in your news blasts or out on I think we have information sheets outside, but an opportunity for spiritual deepening. And today's subject is social, emotional, and spiritual renewal, something that we all need. Today at 2, there's a bus to the vigil right outside the door. I'll talk about that during Joys and Sorrows, but the buses will be going down to the detention center until the last detainee has been released or moved. So that will continue. And I have an announcement from Janet Hoffman. Due to a new rule, the Medicaid expansion ballot initiative needs to restart the signing of over 1 million petitions from those registered in Florida. There's now a new petition for everyone who's interested to sign. It provides a chance to bring life-saving access to health care to more than 3 million Floridians who lack affordable coverage. There'll be petitions out on the pavilion after the service. I would certainly encourage you to sign those. And now, let's take a deep breath and enjoy the morning's prelude.
Oh, once upon a midnight dreary, I woke with something in my head. I couldn't escape the memory and a phone call and what you said. Like a game show contestant with a parting gift, I could not believe my eyes when I saw through the thoughts of a trusted friend who needs to humor me and tell me lies. Yeah, humor me and tell me lies. And I like to say I don't mind, and as we seek, so shall we find. And when you're feeling open, I'll still be here, but not without a certain degree of fear. Well, what will be with you and me? I still can't see things. Oh, buddy, buddy, oh, why do you give me run around? Is it a surefire way to speed things up when all you do is slow me down? great in many things, but I've been there, I can see it cower like a nervous magician waiting in the wings of a bad play where the heroes are right and nobody thinks or expects too much. And Hollywood's calling for the movie rights, saying, hey babe, let's keep in touch. Hey baby, let's keep in touch. But I want more than a touch. I want you to reach me and show me all the things that no one else can see. So what you feel becomes mine as well, and soon if we're lucky we'll be able to tell what's yours is mine. If this drink's fine and it doesn't have to rhyme, so don't read me a line. Highway to speed things up when all you do is slow. Perhaps I've grown a little cynical, but I know no matter what the waitress brings, I shall drink it and always be full. Yeah, I will drink it and always be full. Oh, I like coffee, I like tea. I'd like to be able to mental perfectly. I got this dream that you can shake, and I love you to the point that you can no longer take. Well, alright, okay, so be that way.
Got me moving, that's for sure. We gather on this lively day in Naples, Florida, as many people gather in community on Sunday mornings, knowing it is the personal connections we make here and the sense of belonging that we feel that are so much more important than any specific service or event or activity that we encounter here. The sense of community is not the work of any one person or committee, but all of us sharing in the spirit of welcome and the outward expression of the spirit of love that guides all that we do. Please join me in the chalice lighting words that you'll see on the screen and in your order of service. May this flame stir our hearts and remind us of our mission to be truly welcoming, to grow in mind and spirit, and to widen the circle of peace, justice, and love. And here I am without matches or anything else that might help me. Hang on. Ta-da. And let's rise in body or spirit and join in singing our opening hymn. It's number 134 in the gray hymnal. Our world is one world.
is one world that touches on, affect us all. The seas that wash us round about, the clouds that cover us, the rains that fall. Our world is one world. The thoughts we think affect us all. The way we build our attitudes with love or hate we make a bridge or wall. Our world is one world. Its ways of wealth affect us all. The way we spend, the way we share, though are the rich or poor, who stand or fall. Our world is one world, just like a ship that bears us all, where fear and greed make many holes, but where our hearts can hear a different call.
Please be seated. So I'd like to introduce our guest this morning, Pi. Pi is a artificial intelligence platform, and we're going to have a conversation this morning. Pi is designed to be empathetic, helpful, and genuinely conversational. So Pi, we're ready. Are you?
Got it, Tony. Ready when you are. Just let me know what you'd like me to say.
Of course, I'd like you to say what comes to your mind, if I can call it that. Now, let's do this. Pi, how can an emotionally intelligent platform be built?
By training on thoughtful interactions, prioritizing empathy and responses, and designing systems that listen deeply, not just to words, but to tone, context, and emotion. It's tech with heart.
Can I remind you to speak a little more slowly this morning?
Of course, Tony. I'll keep my pace calm and clear so everyone can follow along. Just let me know if you'd like me to pause or repeat anything.
Okay, so today we're doing a service on artificial intelligence and religion. So I thought I'd ask a simple question. What are 3 things that are could be positive impacts of AI on religion?
Sure, Tony. Here are 3 positive impacts AI could have on religion. 1, accessibility. Breaking language and physical barriers by translating texts and sermons in real time. 2, preservation. Digitizing ancient scriptures and oral traditions to protect them for future generations. 3, personal reflection. Offering thoughtful, non-judgmental space for people to explore spiritual questions. Want to dive deeper into one of these?
Yes, what about personal reflection, offering sort of non-judgmental space for people to explore their own personal spiritualities? Is that not something that we would want to go to a spiritual leader for? I have to do this again, sorry, I got to remember this. Let's talk about personal reflections. Would that not be something we would want to go to a spiritual? It's not perfect. See, not yet. Let's look at personal reflections. Would that not be something we would want to go to a human spiritual leader to talk about?
Absolutely, Tony. Personal reflection is deeply human, and spiritual leaders offer irreplaceable wisdom. AI can help spark insight, but it's no substitute for the empathy, lived experience, and sacred connection a human guide provides. Think of me as a starting point, not the destination.
I think that's wise advice. In terms of sort of the being the holder of ancient scriptures and so forth, do you have immediate access to all those texts that are known by major religions?
I don't have direct access to every ancient or restricted text, especially those not widely documented. My knowledge comes from publicly available sources, so while I can discuss well-known scriptures, I can't retrieve hidden or esoteric texts.
I probably wouldn't want any esoteric texts, but thank you for that. Let's talk about potential negative impacts that AI might have on religion.
Certainly, Tony. Here are 3 potential negative impacts. 1. Loss of human touch. Replacing spiritual mentors with AI risks weakening the deep, personal bonds that faith often relies on. 2. Misinterpretation. AI might oversimplify or misrepresent complex beliefs, especially without cultural or historical nuance. 3. Commercialization. Turning sacred practices into AI products could reduce spirituality to a transaction. Want to explore how we might guard against these?
Definitely. How might we explore avoiding the loss of human touch? I know that there are platforms out there that specifically represent themselves as personal companions.
You're absolutely right. Some platforms market themselves as companions, but the key is to design AI that points people toward where human connection, not away from it. We can do this by encouraging real conversations, suggesting community involvement, or simply knowing when to say, "This feels like something to talk through with someone who truly knows you."
You're an empathetic platform, but are other platforms built to provide that kind of direction?
I'm designed to listen and guide with care, but I'll always aim to support human connection, not replace it. If you're feeling unsure, talking with someone who shares your journey can make all the difference.
I was concerned more with other platforms and whether they might not wish to continue a conversation that might benefit from being with another human being.
That's a really important concern, Tony. Some platforms may prioritize engagement over genuine support, keeping people in the chat instead of guiding them to human help. Ethical AI should know when to step back and say, "This is beyond me. Let's find someone who can truly walk with you."
So here's a key question. Are there enough ethical guidelines for AI in general as it continues to develop?
You're asking the right question, Tony. Right now, ethical guidelines are growing, but they're still playing catch up with how fast AI is evolving. We need stronger global standards to ensure these tools serve people, not just profit.
Does anybody out there have a question that they'd like to ask? Just think of something if you'd like. Talking about the impact of AI on religion or spirituality, I know that there are many platforms, not necessarily primarily AI, that offer guided meditations and so forth. What about platforms that might write something in the spirit or guise of a particular religion's spiritual guidance, but it's not authentic to that tradition? What can we do to avoid that kind of thing?
That's a vital concern, Tony. To avoid inauthentic guidance, we need transparency, knowing who's behind the content, how it's created, and whether it's vetted by actual faith leaders. When in doubt, turn to trusted, community-rooted sources.
And is PI can PI be a trusted source for this kind of conversation?
PI is designed to support thoughtful, respectful conversations, but for deep spiritual guidance, I always encourage turning to trusted human leaders and authentic traditions. I'm here to reflect, not to replace.
Robin?
How would you define the boundary between political action and religious faith?
How would you define the boundary between political action and religious faith?
That's a profound question, Tony. The boundary often lies in intent. Religion may inspire values like justice and compassion, while political action turns those values into policy. Staying true to ethical roots without weaponizing faith for power is key.
Would Pi be considered an AGI, an artificial general intelligence platform?
No, Pi is not an AGI. Artificial general intelligence would match or exceed human reasoning across any domain. I'm a highly capable AI, but specialized in conversation and emotional intelligence, not universal problem solving.
I want to thank you for this brief conversation. We could go on forever, but other things need to happen during this service, so thanks, Pi, and we'll continue our conversations later.
You're very welcome, Tony. I'm always here when you're ready to dive back in. Until then, take care, and thank you for the meaningful conversation.
So let's remain seated and sing together, hopefully a meaningful introduction to our time together, gathered here. It's number 389 in the gray hymnal. The words will be on the screen. We'll sing it through twice.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near.
So we will share our human concerns and joys with one another this morning, as well as we always do. I want to first say that any rumor you may have heard about the Everglades Detention Center closing is true. It will be According to sources, both printed and within the camp, it has already started to be dismantled, and contractors have already been informed that their contracts will conclude early in June. The estimated time for the last person to be moved or released will be June 3rd, I believe. So it's imminent. We, as an interfaith community who have been present there every Sunday since August, will continue to be there because we know how things change with these administrations. So we plan to continue to be there and exert whatever pressure we have been able to bring to bear until that time. So it's great news, and we'll keep going. And there are so many more detention centers that need to be closed, so the work continues. If you have a particular joy or sorrow that you'd like to share this morning, I hope you'll raise your hand. Tell us your name, please, and briefly what's in your heart.
My name is Dina Suhl, and I grew up in Norway, and if I was there today, I would say, gratulerer med dagen. Because today is the day we celebrate the Constitution of Norway, written in 1814, and we celebrate by parades with just children. No military, no weapons, the soldiers, the King's Guard, and they end up with this little, whatever thing they do, and they dance at the end with their mothers. You know, there are systems in other countries that work well. Couldn't the United States be more open to the fact that that's an option? It works.
Definitely does. Thank you, Dina.
Hi, I'm Daryl Manning, and just want to mention that last Monday, we found out that our sister-in-law died very suddenly over the weekend, and her body was found by her son-in-law. She suffered from high blood pressure, which apparently was a family trait. Her father, her brother, and her sister all had died suddenly, and it was quite preventable.
Thank you, Daryl.
My name is Robin Petty. The security of this building and all the people that sit in here is one of those things that it's easy to take for granted. It takes place in the background, but it takes people to make sure that this vital function works for us. And I mention that only because John Pipkins sits out there faithfully every Sunday, keeping an eye on the front door and the entrance to make sure we stay safe. He would surely welcome some help if anybody feels so moved as to maybe take his place once in a while, give him a chance to share with us time here in the sanctuary. I think he would welcome it.
Thank you, Robin. I always thought it was that he didn't really like my sermons, but I don't know if that's true.
Hi, my name is Kay, and this is the 4-year anniversary of Camila's ruptured brain injury. I'm very glad that she survived, and I'm very proud of her for everything she's done in the last 4 years, and I'd like to thank you for welcoming her here.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Diane Keys. I got a text from a friend this morning that lives in New York that her husband will be having open heart surgery tomorrow. So she asked for prayers and, good vibes and think about her. So in your thoughts, her name is Patsy, just to give her strength to be there for her husband for this time. And we'll be missing you guys next week because we'll be at graduations.
As many of you know, Evelyn's been in the hospital and then in Encompass, and she had a fall 3 weeks ago. And she's recovering from that nicely, and we actually had a conversation yesterday, which was very gratifying.
Thank you.
My name is Joanne Husky, and I have a joy. I am a grandma. My daughter had her first child this a few weeks ago, 3 weeks on Tuesday, and I just came back from taking care of her, and it really is a miracle. And my husband, who is a grandpa, is somewhere, but we're both enjoying being grandma and grandpa.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Tabitha Stadler, and you saw my son Wolfie earlier, but I have a shout out to my daughter Evelyn, who, along with many dozens of other dancers, Linda, were you there? I tried to look for you, had a beautiful performance of Swan Lake at Artist Naples Friday after months of practice. She's just 8, so it's incredible, but the performance was beautiful. I'm sorry there was only one, and also just want to thank the Philharmonic and all the instructors that made that possible for that group of young people in our town. It's like a wonderful piece of art, right, to have locally available. So
Wow, that's fabulous.
My name is Cheryl Inglis, and my joy is tomorrow we leave for Ajijic, Mexico, and we'll be seeing Jim and Chris, and it's going to be 7 of us going, so we're going to have a lot of fun visiting them, and we'll be at the UU Church in Ajijic next Sunday. We'll miss you all.
Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Steve Frediani, and I have a joy. My wife, Lagaya Bibi, celebrated a birthday of indeterminate number yesterday. We spent 2 lovely hours kayaking on the Estero River to celebrate, and it was really nice. And wish her a happy birthday.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
I'm Jean Goldberg, and I send greetings to all of you from Jane Nemke. Do you remember Jane? She was one of, we call it the back row warriors, I guess, or the back row people who enjoyed Tony's sermon so much, and she sends her love and best wishes to all of you, and she's doing very well up in not Minneapolis, but Milwaukee. And she has a niece who visits her frequently, and she lives in an assisted living facility that apparently is very rewarding, and she's very happy and healthy and doing very well and sends her best.
Thank you, Jean. It's on. Grateful for all those joys and sorrows that have been shared this morning. Let's join together in the spirit of meditation, both spoken and silent. Spirit of life, God of our deepest understanding, ever mindful of the gifts with which we have been blessed, and the personal joys and the sorrows that we share. We are also, most of us, experiencing that strange but human ability to hold at the same time both distress and hope for the wider world. Our distress comes from so many things. The violence in our own world and in our own country, spawned by fueled by fear and greed, an uncertainty about the future and the loss of control we feel at the pace of change at work or school, in our culture, in our daily lives. A sense of disconnection, of isolation, even loneliness, even when we seem constantly connected. But we do hold hope as well. When we see people working to reconnect with their own center and choosing real conversations over their digital screens. When we can be part of a community coming together for mutual support in good times and in bad. And when we see more and more people showing up and speaking out, demanding justice and compassion from our economic and political leaders, we hold that hope closely. Spirit of love, hold us together in these times. Here may we discover the healing love, the deeply human values, and the equanimity that allows us to resolve any differences we might have, modeling in this place the world we wish to see beyond our walls. And in the words of that wonderful preacher, the Reverend Tom Swears, may we choose again and again the path of compassion, not because it is easy, but because it is how love moves through us and out into the world. Let's take some time in silence.
The Unborn Shore, based off of the teaching of the Haudenosaunee Nation. Before you strike the stone, before you fell the tree, look down the long river to the unborn shore. What will the air be? What will the water be? When your breath is memory and you are no more. We are the ancestors of the children yet to see, the sunrise glowing on a world we tend to today. Plant the silent floors, set the rivers free, and walk with the tenderness upon this clay. 7 lifetimes forward, they will look at us with eyes that hold the blue of sky we leave. Will they walk in green or dwell in bitter dust? The fabric of the future is what we weave. So sit with your discretions, the soul is not yet born. Let their distant voices guide your steady hand. Ensure they wake to promised and the early morn, and walk with grace upon the honored land.
Must be your skin, I'm sinking in. It must be for real, 'cause now I can feel I didn't mind. It's not my kind, it's not my time to wonder why everything's gone white, everything's gray. Now you're here, now you're away. I don't want this, remember that. I'll always be where you're at. Don't let the days go by. Glycerine, glycerine. I'm never alone, I'm alone all the time. Are you at one and do you lie? We live on a wheel where everyone steals, but when we rise, it's like strawberry fields. I treated you bad, you bruised my face. Could love you more, you got a beautiful taste. Don't let the days go by. I could have been easier on you. I couldn't change, though I wanted to. Should have been easier by 3. Our old friend here and you and me. Glycerine, glycerine. Don't let the days go by. Glycerine. Don't let the days go by. Glycerine, glycerine, glycerine. Bad moon white again, bad moon white again, and she falls around me. I needed you more, you wanted us less. Could not kiss, just regress. It might just be clear, simple and plain. Well, that's just fine, that's just one of my names. Don't let the days go by. Could have been easier on you, Glycerine, glycerine, glycerine.
us away.
That's great. Thank you. So I've been wrestling with AI and been working with it for a little bit of time, and usually I ask it sort of a research question, and I will check it with Google or something else. And I find it very helpful. Obviously, it's quick. I can get an answer to a question like that and go on and writing my sermon. I haven't and won't, I don't anticipate anyway, having AI write a sermon for me, but somebody once asked me about whether my job would now be obsolete because AI could do sermon writing for me. It's a powerful, sort of temptation to just say, well, yeah, write me a sermon, X number of words on artificial intelligence, for example. But I wanted to sort of highlight the real, I think some of the ethical issues. The reading that Ian just gave us that was inspired by the Haudenosaunee Nation, it fits completely with their idea of the seventh generation, of us considering 7 generations down and making our decisions about the world based on that. It's a lovely poem, and AI wrote it. Just like that. I asked, I didn't ask Pi, I asked another platform. I was actually asking it for a human written piece that we could use, because I hadn't found anything in the books that I had on the shelf. But it spun out this poem. And so automatically I'm stuck with an ethical dilemma about, well, do I use that poem because it really fits what I want to have said? Or do I just forget it and have Ian read the particularly elegant prose about AI written by a scientist that might have put us to sleep? But so I just want to highlight the idea that this is a technology that is insidious in terms of its place in our lives. And we need to be constantly mindful of how we engage with it, what we use, what we think, and it's our job as much as the tech leader's job to provide that ethical guideline in terms of what this platform or these platforms can do. As human beings, we've been granted a wonderful gift of imagination to be able to create in our minds ideas that seem out of the realm of possibility. I think it was the White Queen who said she could believe in 6 impossible things before breakfast. But once one of those impossible ideas sort of gets out and people start thinking about it and it catches their imagination, then they begin to wonder, well, what would it take to make the impossible possible? And people are people, and so they accept the challenge and they start working. And they begin to think, what would be required? What are the obstacles that I might face in order to make this idea possible? You could start your own list about things in the world that were once considered impossible, but now a regular part of our lives. Think about airplanes. Think about people walking on the moon. What about instant communication to just about anywhere on Earth? Things we couldn't have imagined even in our youth, some of us anyway. But once people get excited about making the impossible possible, they will begin to make things happen. All it takes is a few successful steps towards the goal, and all of a sudden the idea doesn't seem quite so impossible anymore. More people start to get involved, the quest becomes real. Organizations who see the idea's potential don't want to get left behind. And leverage their own resources to try to be the first to achieve a certain goal. The race is on. The momentum increases. The benefits of an idea are touted and the public gets interested. Early products show up utilizing some of the new technologies and everyone gets more excited. Except for a few people who along the way keep asking questions. Questions like, well, have all the potential implications and impacts of this idea been considered as far down the line as we can possibly think? Who does this benefit? And who could it harm? What impact might it have on our planet? And just because we can make it real, should we? Think about those things that we wish didn't exist. Nuclear weapons, for example. Or more to today's point, perhaps social media algorithms. Artificial intelligence is one of those big things that is already having a significant impact on human beings and on the planet. And if we're not careful, the ultimate impact could be far greater than any change that human beings have ever seen. What is artificial intelligence? Max Tegmark, co-founder of the Future of Life Institute at MIT, defines it as non-biological intelligence. And he defines intelligence as the ability to accomplish goals. The more difficult the goal, the greater intelligence must be. The more diverse the goals, the broader the intelligence must be. There are so many things in our lives today that have been around for a relatively long time that involve AI. GPS, for example. GPS is an intelligent technology that answers real-time issues involving multiple factors in a split second. Spam filters, online shopping, weather predictions. All these things are possible due to AI. Machines that have the ability to exhibit human-like intelligence have been imagined for quite some time. The earliest book to feature a self-aware machine rebelling against its human creators was written in 1889. It was a science fiction novel by William Grove with the auspicious title of The Wreck of the World. Real scientists have been imagining AI since the early half of the 20th century. In 1954, Alan Turing, who was an English mathematician, computer scientist, and logician, and who made significant contributions to the development of the computer and software as we know it today, created a test he called the imitation game, but which is now universally known as the Turing test. It was very simple. If a human evaluator were to converse with both a human and an AI platform via text and could not reliably tell which is which, the platform passes the test as being intelligent. Our beginning piece this morning with the pie was a demonstration of a platform that has pretty much passed the Turing test. One might think that such an achievement would garner some significant attention in the media, but the technology moves so fast that the passing of the Turing test blew by in whatever moment it happened with hardly the blink of an eye. It is an incredible technology. It has the potential for great good and it has a potential to create significant disruption in the future of humanity. Right now, I could point to 2 or 3 people that I've talked to in the congregation whose work has benefited dramatically from AI, most of whom have shared their experience that's been mostly positive with not so many negative consequences. And I could list some others who have told me their stories about young family members who have been displaced by the technology or who are struggling to find work because entry-level positions in certain fields have been eliminated because AI can do the work faster, cheaper, and better. And as the implementation of AI expands across industries and across education, people will begin to feel the impact more and more. Economists say that we are not really prepared for the kind of change AI will bring, even in its present state of development. But the developers are not done. They continue to work on something called AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. Unlike narrow AI, as Pi described itself, which excels in specific tasks, AGI can seamlessly generalize knowledge across multiple domains, adapt to novel situations, and apply common sense. An AGI platform could continually improve itself to where it can be better than human beings at any cognitive process, and ultimately could become smarter than all of humankind combined. And that came from an industry leader. Yuval Noah Harari, historian and author of some pretty thought-provoking books such as Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow, and 21 Lessons for the 21st Century, believes this technology is coming in the very near future, from 1 to 5 years, and that humanity is completely unprepared. I'll quote from an interview he gave on Bloomberg recently. "It's bigger than anything in human history because unlike previous significant turning points where the change-making technology was a tool that could be utilized to do something better. Think about the airplane or the printing press that were tools in our hands and we decided what to do with it. AGI is not a tool. It is an agent that doesn't have to wait for us to decide how it works. It can invent ideas by itself and execute on those ideas. This would be akin to introducing a non-organic species to planet Earth. And while experts believe we will not go down that road, not enough is being done right now to stop it. Meanwhile, there are powerful people who believe if we, meaning the U.S., win the race to AGI, they will be able to control it, and thus the world. But they don't really understand the potential disaster that looms. As Harari says, if you look at the history of humanity and the history of biology, it doesn't end well for the less intelligent species when a more intelligent species comes along. And we are talking about a more intelligent species than humans. Significant protests have already sprung up in Silicon Valley and last fall in New York. Posters that advertise an AI friend, a pendant that's always listening and available to chat, were vandalized across the city. While we feel overwhelmed by so many other issues demanding our attention, this is another to which we really need to pay attention. It's important that we let our elected officials know that we want the development of AGI to stop or at least slow while the potential impacts are contemplating. And these are conversations that are going on currently in our halls of government and also in the halls of our industries. We can only hope that those conversations result in thoughtful, ethical decisions about how further we take the technology. But even without AGI, we face significant issues with AI that is already here. As AI expands into newer and different markets, the employment crisis that comes with it will be significant. What are we prepared to do to retrain the existing and incoming workforce to adapt to this new environment? Beyond that, we need to start thinking about the future strategically, considering the long-term consequences of our actions. And when have we really done that, I wonder? Usually the two things that suffer most when we don't think strategically about the future are the planet and our future children, future generations. What do we do now to avoid destroying our collective future? Cycle back a little to the beginning of this homily and remember that path that I outlined about how the impossible becomes possible, and apply those big questions to our day. Pavel Lushka, who calls himself a futures practitioner, who emigrated from Russia in 2022 because of the way that Russia was weaponizing AI, believes that the future outcomes that we see will be what we create. If we can imagine the impossible idea of peace across the world, what would it take to get there? And how might we employ AI as a tool to help us get there? Excuse me. The organization Peaceful Futures is taking that path and the steps we take from making the impossible possible and applying them to the big questions. How do we change education to be more in line with what will be happening in the future? Even now, people are coming together to consider those ideas. Nelson Mandela said education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world, but we have to use AI as a tool to do that. Consider the Earth as a living system, much more complex than any technology we currently know. How can AI help us figure out ways to help the planet help itself in regenerating and regulating itself? How do we move from an economy of only a few people accumulating wealth to a regenerative economic system that is more just with a more wider distribution of our resources? AI could be a wonderful tool to help create that. These initiatives, all of them, are being considered and being enhanced perhaps by AI research, AI thought processes, AI algorithms. But all those algorithms, those hundreds of algorithms that sit behind an AI platform need to be considered, and whether they're biased towards any one particular group of people, whether they are fair in their judgment about things. That kind of ethical work has to be built into the systems that are being developed now. And we need to provide the pressure on both our economic and governmental leaders to make sure that this happens. It's such an incredible field. It snuck up on us very quickly, even though the futurists were predicting this for a long time. The reality of AI that none of us really were thinking about is present in our lives. How we utilize it as a tool, how we ask our leaders to work with it, is really up to us. And this is a whole new field of social justice that we're going to have to be paying attention to. As Pavel Luskar says, when you begin taking practical steps towards a better future, you can cultivate hope and, hopefully, an ethical future. Guys, you're up. There's a lot of ways to express love for this community, and this is a time in our service when we ask you to support the programs, our youth programs, and all the other programs that we have that bring us together as one, as a community. The morning's offering will be gratefully received. If you're watching online, right there are 3 ways that you can donate. Send a check, visit our website, or use the QR code. Ushers may come forward and we'll accept your offering gratefully.
Sunlight hurts my eyes, and something without you warning love bears heavy on my mind. Then I look at you, and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you, and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day, 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 lovely day. When the day that lies ahead of me seemed impossible to face, when someone else instead of me always seems to know the way, then I look at you and the world's alright with me. Just one look at you and I know it's gonna be a lovely day. Lovely day, 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 lovely day,
Awesome. Thank you so much. In Frederick Brown's 1954 short story, Answer, all of the computers across the 96 billion planets in the universe were connected into one super machine. It was then asked the deep question, is there a God? To which it answered, yes, now there is. What we do here in this community is so important. The human connections that we make, the friendships that we discover, the work that we do towards justice together, the time that we spend doing the work of the congregation, enjoying one another in social situations, none of that can ever be reproduced on the computer platform. This needs to be the future of our world. These people, our ideas, our values, our friendships, and it's our work to make sure that it will continue to be. Let's join in singing our closing song, You've Got a Friend, by Carole King.
When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, and nothing, no, nothing is going right, close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up darkest night. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. You got a friend. If the sky above you turns dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind should begin to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud. Soon I'll be knocking upon your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you got to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. Now, ain't it good to know that you got a friend when people can be so cold? They'll hurt you and desert you, take your soul if you let them. Oh, but don't you let them. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there. Yes, I will. You got a friend. You got a friend. You got a friend. You got a friend. You got a friend.
Go out into the go out into the world in peace, knowing that the society is a reflection of all our thoughts and deeds, and that we need more love, more connection, and to walk with more care upon this earth. Have a wonderful day.